And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say.
Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to Koi Plays Tarot. My name is Koi, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. This is a set of quick announcements. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are back up and open. Leave a message or email me directly. Link is on main, and we'll set it up, okay? So, Scorpio, what are we looking at in this round of reads? This is going to be your one-to-one read for the month of September. One-to-one is a style reading that I do with person A over here, person B over here, and examining everything going on in between. Right? So two major caveats is this style read, Scorpio. The first, although they tend to get the moniker of being love readings, given the intricate nature of all the things going on in between, I tend to hesitate with that name because it's not always lovely. Real tarot can reflect real life, and I think as your tarot card reader, I'm good enough to do real things. So we're going to talk about anything that shows up here. That's the first. The second, and I promise you, the second, it ain't always going to be about love. It could be a family member, coworker, friend, somebody you just met, right? Just what is the most prevalent relationship happening in between these two parties? So as preamble to the read, Scorpio, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, if it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to misguide you or mislead you. Trust me, I have 12 signs to work with every round of reads, and I do not have the time to lie or waste with any of them, right? I just don't. So instead, we lay our cards out on the table, and good or bad, or rain or sunshine, we talk about it, because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one, okay? So follow me in your one-to-one read today, Scorpio, and yeah, let's see what the cards say. You're going to be over here, your person's going to be over here. So what cards we need to see, please, for the Scorpio Collective in this one-to-one read between them and their person? What cards we need to see, please, between Scorpio and their person in this read? Okay. Starting with you. Nice. Okay. Two of Cups. Trying to seek deeper intimacy with another, or at least more vulnerable bonding moments. And on their end, the Knight of Cups. Okay. So we have two people who are feeling each other. That's nice. I think at least you two are in either the opening or reopening stages, right? And what I mean by that is just because the feelings are present does not automatically dictate, time. Time is kind of an illusory concept in tarot at times. And the reason I'm saying that is because this could be a new budding relationship that you're finding with somebody else, Scorpio, or you could be working on this with a past partner, right? These are both viable options, at least at this point in the read. Now it's going to get a lot more clear the more we move on, but you two are vibing, and I like it. Okay, now that we have two distinct parties, show us fronts and backs. Fronts and backs in the style of reading, I locate them as being backs was left in the unsaid, left to the wayside, sometimes on the unknown, and fronts was being most directly said or energetically exchanged. So as cards we need to see, please, between Scorpio and their person, fronts and backs in this read. Ooh. Didn't hit the table. I can't take. What cards do we need to see, please? Fronts and backs for Scorpio and their person in this read. Okay, starting over here. High Priestess. Okay, so we're trusting our voice on this one. And the Ten of Wands. Oh, okay. I'm going to hold off on what I say because I want to see what this person says over here. The Tower. And the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so that's why I was getting those vibes earlier. So you were reconnecting with someone from the past. And the reason I'm saying this is because this was being directly said, but now the feelings are there, but it's like you're doing an entire maze and Tetris at the end of that maze just to get there. This person is bringing up with the tower how things fell apart fantastically before. And it wasn't nice and it wasn't cute. And I get that, Scorpio. On your end, you're saying, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. And internally, I know how I feel. I know what direction this is leading in. We've done this dance before. Now, the thing that you're sitting with is, if we are to pursue this, right, you and I, whatever us is, then what can we do in our absolute best way possible to avoid how we collapsed the last time? And I think that's what both of you are kind of sitting with in your own ways, right? You're trusting your boys, both saying this is worth the fight, and I know how I feel about you. They're saying, I'm willing to build, but I gotta see if they're willing to try, right? Both of you are hesitating, and good reason, because the way that you fell apart last time wasn't so pretty, right? That's why I say it's not always lovely, right? But if we're gonna give it a shot one more time, then what does that mean between us? Okay. Positions show individual positions of each party. Or individual positions between Scorpio and their person in this read. Because again, I'm looking at two people who want each other, but they're not really at the stage of having each other again. I think both of you kind of feel that. Okay, are they interested in me? Do they want to give this a shot? But there's a lot of, I don't want to say it's unfounded hesitation, but there is a lot of apprehension on both sides because of how the falling out was, right? I do want you to keep that in mind. So on your end, the moon, card of Pisces. I don't know if you're connecting with one, but hey, let's roll with it. You're saying, I want to trust in the unknown, right? That 10 of Wands, if you're directly communicating that this is what it will take, then part of you is saying, yeah, I don't know where we're going to head. I don't. And if we're going to reconnect, the house doesn't always have to be absolutely perfect. Just the framework does. Okay. The house does not have to be absolutely perfect, but I gotta know that we have a plan. And more than that, well, I gotta leave it up to whatever will happen, right? That's a lot to say when it comes to this person, because you're saying they're both worth the fight. And if I am to say that this is worth having, then simultaneously I gotta trust in what I can't control. And so you're trying to really rein it in and just let whatever be shall be. On their end, strength, the card of Leo. Am I up for this challenge? Are we really reconnecting, or are we just simulating a life that we wish we could have had with each other? Underneath it all, this is the card that tried to fly out earlier, the Hangman. Both of you are in a state of observance, right? You and a past partner you're both looking at each other. You won't say the loud thing out loud, which is very interesting, because it's like we're going through the motions of what's obviously heading down to a more bonded path. But both of you are watching both yourselves, both the other person and yourselves, and asking, okay, I'm down if you're down, but are you down? I'll have that be the day, because that's really funny. Yeah, that's the entire vibe that I'm getting here, is that both want the other person to say yes, but we're just at a stage where we know how we ended last time, and we don't want to jump to, we don't want to rush too much into it. And simultaneously, it's not doing us any good to just sit here and stare at the wall. What are we doing? What are we doing, Scorpio? And that's, I think both of you are kind of scared to say it, but also know that that is what it'll take to take it to the next step. Okay? Now that we have two parties on the board, both looking at each other, one towards the other, 1, 2, 1, let's look at what's happening down the middle. Show us cards on me to see, please. Scorpio in this 1-to-1 read. What is shared between them and their person? Cards we need to see, please, between Scorpio and their person in this read. middle, we see the Magician. Okay. So the power of manifestation here, both, like I said earlier, you two want each other in your lives, but there's so much hesitancy because we're so afraid of repeating past mistakes. Devil, your card of Capricorn. I'm taking that as, again, you don't have to talk about the elephant in the room. We just got to look at the ways that we're trying to hide an elephant, right? Both of you are so afraid to say, we want this. And it's because we're afraid of tearing each other apart beyond our want for this. So we're just like imitating what is obviously leading to something bigger at this moment. Okay. Next, Eight of Swords, a feeling of powerlessness. It's not powerlessness here, Scorpio. It's just the obvious answer is the one that we don't like, right? And that means we got to talk about how we fell out point by point and rehash everything that happened. And I'm not going to look at you in a violent or destructive way, but I got to say, this is what we cannot repeat again if we're serious about getting to the next step, right? That's not powerlessness. That's just we don't want to rip the Band-Aid off. Two different things, okay? Five of Swords, both sides, so afraid of messing it up that we're psyching ourselves out, okay? And the last, Death, card of Scorpio. I'm taking that in two ways. Both the ending of one form of modality or one opinion, i.e., this is how we ended in the past, and the transformation of what is. Because at the end of the day, death means transformation in the tarot card deck. Not just spooky and scary. Okay. And here, death between you two, not just looking towards you for answers, but at a deeper level, both of you got brought back together for a reason. And now do we transform and change for that very same reason? Or will we just be stuck in what could have been? Okay. Underneath it all, Ten of Swords. The pain of the past still haunts us, but it's also the only thing that's going to set us free. We need to talk about what went wrong. If we really want to be serious about this, we got to talk about what went wrong so we can plan on what goes right. Okay? Last, as we move towards resolution, for us to find the major arcana strewn across the table in this reading for Scorpio, we will start with the High Priestess. Internally, what is the voice trying to tell us? Show us cards that we need to see, please. Ooh, pretty, but can't take. Didn't hit the table. Show us cards we need to see, please, for Scorpio in this read as we move towards resolution. Define the major arcana. Because I get it. I get why both sides are hesitant. It's not that there's still lingering, resentment and hatred towards each other. It's that I never want to feel this way about you again. How do we prevent doing this if we're saying we're going to try one more time? I'm down if you're down. So, are you down? To your High Priestess, the Empress. Yeah, you want to work on this with them. The best of me is waiting, wanting to offer this. If you have changed and I have changed, then logically we can change. Are we changing? Right? And there's so much nervousness behind it. But simultaneously, what you have concluded within yourself is, okay, it's round two. What's different? Because you're saying, if I can get over it, if we can work on who we were and now who we are, we can also focus on who we can become and get this right. For their tower, the Ten of Swords, right? Between you and them, it ended so terribly last time. And I understand both apprehensions, but that can't be the only focus because both of you want more than what you ended up at. That's true. It's just repeating itself across the board. Okay. To the moon, entrusting uncertainty. Ace of Wands. Very strange of you, to give second chances, Scorpio. But hey, if I'm saying that we're gonna do this again, then we gotta do this again fully, right? So, cheers. And to strength, Seven of Cups, right? To believe in possibility between you and I one more time. Can we make this right? Down the middle, when it's shared, defining the Magician, Star, the card of Aquarius. Both of you were kind of waiting on this moment. Now that it's here, what do we do with it? Right? Because it's not enough to just hope. We both are in each other's lives again for some coincidentally odd reason. Now, what do we do with that? I think that's a better thing to ask. To the devil, Seven of Pentacles. Not just accepting things for where they are. I think, again, the devil is one of the most brutally honest cards in the tarot deck because it is honest about everything that we don't like and maybe even hate about ourselves, right? To have the Seven of Pentacles paired with that as your shared energy with this person, Scorpio, it says that, oh no, we know it, but we're not going to talk about it. The truth is going to set you free. But first, it will piss you off. If we do not talk about it, then we can't move this anywhere. So we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Okay? And last to death down here, Judgment, total transformation. Did we learn the lesson of why we're back in each other's lives? Why we're both considering this again? Are we really going to give it another shot, or are we just going to let everything fall to the wayside like it did last time? The resolution, Eight of Cups. And what goes along with the Eight of Cups? The Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, okay. Let's switch it up. Because I was like, oh no. Eight of Cups normally representing the energy of intentional abandonment, or I'm walking away from this. And then the Wheel of Fortune comes out. Things can and will change with time. So this past mistake, it can be fixed. I'm down if you're down. So are you down with me? Underneath it all, Eight of Swords. There's a lot of hesitancy and anxiousness happening between you and this person. The feelings are there. Now where's the bravery? And that's what I want to see on both sides. So as a recap of your read, Scorpio, yeah, you're reuniting with an ex. Because if this read hit, it hit hard. And if it didn't hit, then it's not for you. And that can happen in all sign-based readings as well. That's why we do one-on-ones, which you can arrange for me individually. But besides that, I'm looking at a Scorpio who has chosen to get back with somebody that they ended catastrophically bad with last time. The thing is, both parties are interested in mending the relationship and hopefully being better. So if we had changed, if you changed, if I changed, if we changed, then maybe we can make change. And in knowing that, hopefully, changes is something much better than where we ended as everything burst into flames last time. I'm down if you're down. Now, are you down? I want to see two people who can have that tough conversation. That's all I got in your read today, Scorpio. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, there's a lot of nerves right now, but there's also the potential for a lot of love. What do you value more? See you around, okay? Take care.